Well, obviously, just getting a win the series was, our main concern today. And I thought we did just enough. We played solid defense, and we didn't give them much. Walked them 4 times, but they walked us more than that, and they made an error. And in that inning, we ended up scoring 5 runs, and we've been good at that. If we get an extra at bat, or maybe something like that starts a rally. But good job by our offense early in the game, staying in the zone, laying off borderline pitches early in the count, getting pitch counts up, and in some cases getting a better pitch to hit, or even taking a walk. And when you score 5 runs in 1 inning, sometimes it's hard to overcome that if you're in the other dugout. And I think that's kind of what went on today. As far as pitching wise, I felt like Gage had really good stuff. Just wasn't locating quite the way we were hoping. Give Tennessee credit. They fouled off pitches and they worked him and got his pitch count up there. And then we had like a 30-minute inning. So we decided that we better get him. And Landon gave us 2 really good innings. The 3rd inning, you can see by the numbers, the fastball went from 92, 93, 94 to 90. And, it just wasn't good. So I think he got us an out there and then a walk and a homer. And we had Will ready to go, and Will pitched great. Just filling up the zone with fastballs, cutters, and curveballs, and did a tremendous job because their lefty came in and shut us down pretty good there at the end. And it almost looked like both teams were getting a little tired, to be honest with you. But big win for us.
Dave, with Helfrich's grand slam, from your perspective, did you know he had got enough to get it out, and just how big of a swing was that for y'all?
So I knew the wind was lightly blowing in early. It was kind of all over the place today, and batting practice the same way, but it's warm and the ball was carrying. To answer your question, when he hit it, when it first left the bat, I wasn't sure, and then when it started going up, I said, that's going to go. Just because it's a lot of backspin on it. I mean, he crushed it straight up, 46 degrees or something like that. And, but was a little nervous because at the end, did it just barely fall over the fence? I don't know where it landed. I thought it was going to go in the green seats when it got up to the top, but I guess it came straight down. And, I don't even know the distance on it, but he hit it really hard. He just hit it up. So I guess to answer your question again, I wasn't 100% sure.
I know during the offseason there was a lot of talk about how you're going to retool the offense, be more dynamic, and yet here we are into the regular season. You've tied the school record for home runs. Has it surprised you how much power this team has? And when did you realize that it was going to be a team like this?
We realized it in fall practice. It was, we weren't sure who was going to DH. We thought we might platoon our DH, and we could have. But Cahillo took over there and drove in 68 runs in 55 games. Pretty good job. And, but really in fall baseball, we just saw what was going on with exit velocities because we look at all that. And we thought we were going to hit some home runs. You never know how many you're going to hit. I think we ended up maybe 3rd in the league or 4th. But what we did is we got on base in front of a lot of those home runs. We took walks and we hit for a higher average, and we could bunt a little bit. In the SEC play, we were like, 11 out of 12 stolen bases going into the weekend. I don't know what we ended up with, 13, 14. We got thrown out a few times, but we just kind of take what you give us. We worked on base running a lot in the fall. Then when the season started and we were hitting like we hit, we didn't want to run ourselves out of innings, so we didn't run as much as we were thinking. But some of it had to do with injuries with guys' legs. But yeah, it's been fun watching these guys take their work from practice into the games.
Is it fair to say Cahillo's kind of the biggest difference maker, maybe in elevating you guys' ceiling this year offensively?
Well, he really helped. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the biggest because when you think about it, it's kind of running streaks. It's just like today. I got Brent Iredale hitting the 7 hole. But at the beginning of the season, he carried us once we got back from Arlington for 2 or 3 weeks in there, midweek games, weekend games, non-conference. He was hammering the ball, and the ball ended up in the seats, doubles, taking his walks, and he was hitting over 400. So he was rolling, and Kehio was nailing it too pretty good. So those two guys were kind of back to back, and then, they both had their ups and downs, but the lineup it threatens you, and you see pitchers that they start nibbling a little bit and they get in trouble, and then that's when you can hurt them. So I really didn't answer your question because I really don't know the answer.
Will was not nibbling at all today. I mean, I think he threw like 10 balls to 11 hitters total. Just how good is that to see a guy that, there's been some SEC weekends you haven't used him, and then you put him against a good Tennessee lineup, and he does that.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of hard work. And what I mean by that is, he hadn't pitched for a while, but he just kept working, probably get more frustrated. I want to pitch. And then when he got on the mound, he just let it go. And he got to pitch fearless, and he did. And he just went at him. And, it was just great to see because we didn't know if he was going to be able to go one inning or three or a couple of hitters. And, you always got to have plan B, and we didn't have to use anything, which was great.
You mentioned it in your opening statement, your guys' ability to take advantage of some other teams' mistakes. I mean, is there any intangible, something you can point to in the makeup of the team that leads to that?
Well, I mean, we talk about, taking advantage of getting an extra at bat in an inning or, an error. But we also talk about, that's like taking a walk or an 0-2 walk where you're down 0-2 and you fight, and all of a sudden he walks you. Those are momentum changers, and take a lot of pride in that. But I don't think we talk about it and harp on it, but we seem to do a good job of taking advantage of it most of the time when it happens.
Yeah, I guess what went into the decision of moving Ryder as high as fifth these last couple games? Seems like he's cashed in.
Well, I thought he swung the bat really good at Florida. I thought he swung it really good at LSU. His batting practice, like I mentioned the other day, is, he's not just sitting there smoking balls out of the park to the pull side. He's hitting line drives through the middle, hitting the ball to right center. And, give credit to, I think it was it Krenzel that got him a couple of times throwing that sinker. We should have moved up on him more in the box and towards the pitcher and tried to catch that sinking 93, 95 mile an hour fastball out front a little bit. But, they kind of show us. I mean, it's what we do. It's what we've been doing forever. And we've got to watch. We've got to use our eyes and go with what we see. And, there's a guy who's hitting 8th, 7th, and now he's hitting 5th. And, today when I wrote the lineup, I thought about moving him, putting Kojal in front of him. And then I thought, well, we won yesterday. Not a big deal. Let's just keep it the same. And it worked out.
I think on pregame radio you were talking about changing to a machine as opposed to someone throwing. Is that kind of like a one-series thing? Is that something you're going to take into the SEC?
We've done it before. Coach Thompson asked me yesterday before batting practice. He said, "Hey, what do you think about using our pitch machine that has a little carry on it instead of arm? Because we always throw, because we thought it might simulate the lefty a little better, with that carried fastball and good velocity." And I said, no, that would be good. And we did it yesterday, and we thought, well, let's just do it again today. So I don't know if we did it today because we thought he had the same fastball, or if we had pitchers that our BP coaches needed a day off. I don't know, but it worked out. So, yeah.
Fisher's such a good hitter. What's your approach on him?
Yeah. Man, he's a good hitter, tough hitter, and he has a very good eye at the plate. He can hit left-handed pitchers. Even when he doesn't hit it well, he top spins it. And he's hit those singles, and he got 22 home runs. And, hey, we only gave up one in 3 games. I guess that's pretty good because I think he had 3 last weekend and maybe one in the midweek. So, he's really hard to get out. You have to almost fool him a little bit, or you just have to just say, here you go. And, we didn't get him out much, so I don't really know the answer to that one. He's going to be a really good pick in the draft, and he's played at 3 different schools and done really well at 3 different schools.